Greetings, YouTube. I was just watching a video done by Brian Worth, who is funny, who is smart, who is quite insightful, and has an incredibly wonderful laugh. I love her laugh. And it was dealing with the topic of passport bros. Now, I've never heard that term before today. I know I'm behind the times. I am an old. But the concept of what that term represents is as old as conservatism. And the passport bro is someone that goes from a Western culture, often America, to Asia or South America for the purposes of acquiring a wife in a purely transactional process. They want a wife, often significantly younger than them, either kissing the edge of childhood or actually still a part of childhood, which is a kettle of fish that I really don't want to see the inside of. And they think that they can just go there, give money to this woman's family, or promise her a future of stability, bring her back to this country or another Western country, and expect a relationship with all the complexities of relationships that will be long-lasting and stable. And they keep praying that she will never become westernized, because that is when this woman will eventually have the capacity to, be financially stable enough that she could just pick her ass up and leave, which is what they should do. And I've only ever known one person who ever did this, and it was a coworker of my father's. I don't know if they were truly friends or not. He had quite a few buddies when he was drinking, who were drinking buddies, but I don't know if you'd ever actually have called them friends or not. And my father really didn't achieve that level of relationship complexity as having friends until he got sober. But this guy, that's what he did. He went to, I think it was Vietnam, and he came back with the wife. And she was the absolute quintessential, mail order bride. Seeing as this dude was known for hitting on younger women, like high school women, it wouldn't shock me that he picked someone that looked like a person that hadn't hit puberty yet. Because I've laid eyes on this woman, and I saw that, she was, in fact, in double digits, and her age was, I think she was 20 or 22 or something like that. She did look like she was 13. Now, I was myself a kid at the time, so I didn't make that connection. It's just, I can remember thinking the size difference seemed weird, the physical structure between this dude and this person, a woman, that they were together, because there was a significant size difference. If you were to see them from the rear, it's like him standing there and her standing there, you could have very well thought that that was a father and child. Now, I'm almost 61, and it makes me want to take out one of the toys I make in my basement and give it a practical workout. But these guys have been around for as long as there has been social conservatism. They want a transactional relationship that ends up in a relationship. They want to go to a father and say, here is enough coins, and then the father hands them a woman, or in most cases, a girl, who will then be swept away, isolating her financially and physically from her family and support system and her friends, making her completely dependent on this dude, who can then exploit her to his wildest fantasies because she has no place to go. And yet, he wants love to blossom from this relationship, because he is not going to do any of that emotional work. So he expects this girl to do the emotional labor for him, because he wants nothing to be involved in that. He just wants the outcome. Put coin in, win. It's the gamification of a relationship. And it's twisted and it's warped. Relationships take effort. And you start, if If you want a healthy relationship, you start here and here. That's where you start. Now, if you were raised in a healthy, happy household, you have got most of that work already done by the time you hit the dating age. The problem is, many of us never had that. And it's like learning a language. If you learn a language when you're still in the crib, it's much easier to learn that language. If you're trying to learn that language as a 50-year-old, it's more difficult. It's not impossible, but it's more difficult. Okay? It's the same thing with trying to be a healthy, happy person in a relationship. If you were raised in a healthy environment, it's going to be easier for you to transition into being a happy, healthy adult. If you are an adult who is not happy and healthy, becoming a happy and healthy adult takes effort. And these dudes want nothing to do with the word effort. Okay? Because you're going to have to go to therapy. You're going to have yourself diagnosed in case you're neurodivergent. You're going to have to maybe talk to doctors and stuff about getting the drugs you need to get your brain chemistry to be in the right place. Yes, all of these things are stuff you're going to have to consider, you're going to have to do. And when you go to a therapy session, it's, again, you can't gamify it. You can't walk in and say, here's the coin, doc, give me a result, make me healthy. Now, I'm in therapy. I see my therapist once a month. And he's a wonderful dude. I love him to death. He's helped me immensely. He's also quite charming and quite funny. And he and I, we have a tough relationship, tough session rather. We almost always have a laugh of some variety, though it's partly based on my very, very dark humor. My dark humor can be downright pitch black. And that has helped me, but it's effort, and it's an ongoing process. And I put the effort in. I mean, right now I have a email in my Gmail account, which is a list of notes for my next session. Like there's like 5 things in there that I want to talk about to him. So I think about these things, I write them down so that I don't forget to talk about these topics with my therapist, for good or ill, as an example of, hey, I think I've tackled this particular problem much better than I did in the past. Or this thing is still triggering me to be in an emotionally unstable state. I need to figure out a better mechanism for working around that particular issue. And he always tells me that I show up with like 3 sessions worth of material. Because he said, you put the effort in, you're working on it between sessions. Because he has clients that gamify this. They only work on their issues during that session. Now, there are people who can only do that because they're not in a safe environment. So they really can't be vulnerable outside that. It's dangerous. So only working on their problems in that session may be the only safe space they have. But a lot of people, a lot of dudes, just don't want to do it. They want someone else to do it for them. They want to just pay for the result. And life doesn't work that way. I know you've been told it does. I know you can point to examples of it. But if you want to have happy, healthy relationship, folks, it takes effort. It's work. But it's really worth it. Because as you do it, it becomes easier. It's like any other skill. If you get better at being a good person, it becomes easier to be a good person. If you get better at working in a craft, that craft becomes easier over time. If you practice a language, that becomes easier and you become more fluent over time. And relationships are the same thing. Fluency can be achieved. It just takes work. It's easier to learn as a kid. Sadly, a lot of us don't have that option. But it's not impossible. I had someone earlier this year tell me how they were a hopeless case. Even though I was giving them examples like in this video about what they could do to be a happy or healthy person, they just completely dismissed it. They saw themselves as an absolute and total washout. They were a waste of time on anyone's part, which is heartbreaking. And I hope that dude eventually finds a way out of that pit. Because I've been in that pit and it sucks. But yeah, today was the first time I ever encountered the concept of passport bros. But the ugly, vile truth of it has been around for as long as social conservatism.